All right. Yet another mic failure. So we're going to go ahead and get it started by opening one of the best cards in the set, which I'm probably technically not even supposed to take here. Morbid Opportunist and Scab Wrangler are two of the top uncommons in the set, and by far the best deck in the set. Well, maybe not by far. I think White Blue Disturb is also very good, but we're going to still try to make this damn Werewolves deck work, even though it is the worst deck in the set, and that is not particularly close. Drafting Werewolves in this format is akin to taking a mulligan every game. But we're going to try it. We're going to try to do it just to, we say we could, and we open a sweet one. Tovalar's Huntmaster is one of the best rares in the set. It's actual Grave Titan that with upside. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take it, and then just, casually never draw it, right? Because that's what we do. All right. So we get past a Signpost Uncommon. We also get past Rite of Oblivion, which is just a very strong removal spell. White-black is also a fine deck to be in. But you can't splash Tovalar's Huntmaster because of the double pip in green. So, I mean, we could look at white-green, splash black, green-black, splash white. Or, if we get cut out of Werewolves, we'll just get cut out of Werewolves, I guess, huh? But yeah, we're going deep. We're just going to take this Kessig Naturalist, which is super strong. A 2-drop werewolf is huge for getting Nightbound. Oftentimes you can go 2-drop Kessig Naturalist if you're on the play. If your opponent doesn't have a 2-drop, they might just lose the game, right? And might just straight up lose. Followed up with a Duel for Dominance. I'm not big on fight spells, but I've been impressed with Duel for Dominance, especially if you have Coven. And it looks like the deck's open. We get Cathartic Fire. Just a fantastic removal spell in red. Red being probably the weakest color in the format. I think it's up there with green. All right, here we go. So we have an unfortunately overcosted Village Watch. Broodweaver, and then Bird Admirer. It was a little cheaper. I'm gonna go with the Broodweaver. It's just the Werewolves deck has a lot of problems getting tempoed out, and a Bird Admirer is still subject to a removal spell. Broodweaver, it generates a body when it dies, so it's not quite as easy to invalidate. So we're gonna go ahead and take that Broodweaver here. Village Watch is just, I don't know, 5 mana for a 4/3 haste. 4/3? Yeah, it's excessive. Now we see an Organ Hoarder, so we're like, oh shit, right? But Obsessive Astronomer is a 2-drop that, has a fair ability, so we'll take it. And then we get a gift in a Kessig Naturalist, pick 7. So, okay, we're doing it. We're all in on these damn werewolves now. There's also a Pestilent Wolf in the pack, which would be fine with as a 2-drop. Path to the Festival if we want to splash, or black or something. We get, removal. There's really not a whole lot the Werewolves deck wants to splash for, though. Except for black removal, I guess. Up next, we hit kind of a blank. We get an Eccentric Farmer and a Winter Thorn Blessing, which also, we're not guaranteed to be red here. We could be green, blue, splash red. But we'll take the Eccentric Farmer. It's fine. It helps us hit our land drop so we can get closer to Tovalar's Huntmaster. And then we can take a combat trick here. Might of the Old Ways. Fine if you have Coven. Hopefully we don't end up running it. There's better combat tricks if you're a werewolf deck. I think the 2/2 aura that untaps and gives your creature vigilance and has flash is really good. To have a 1 of. Alright, Burn the Accursed, sweet pickup, and then we get a Thermo Alchemist, which is a total house. So I'm going to actually take that over the 3-drop Werewolf. I think it doesn't even matter if, you know, you have a lot of spells in your deck. Thermo Alchemist just is a good way to win a game of Magic. You know, it deals 4 or 5 points of damage. If you can drop that thing on turn 2, it'll deal 6 or 7 damage. Alright. So we open up a Signpost Uncommon here on Natural Moonrise. We're going to hope that it wheels. And we're going to play, we're going to grab this Contortionist Troop. Really like this card. I think it just gets out of hand super quick. You can get Coven in this format pretty easy. So we're just going to take that Contortionist Troop. We also have a good rare there, Jadar. So it's maybe we should have gone green-black or something. But hindsight's hindsight. We got 2 Kessig Naturalists, so we're going to do the green-red Werewolves thing. And try to do it at least once and win with it, so we can say we did it. We have kind of a blank here. A lot of a blank. Good white card, an Audric's Outrider. Siege Zombie is a fine black 2-drop. Heirloom Mirror, I just don't think I would ever play that card. It's just way too slow. We'll take another Eccentric Farmer. Think that's correct over Tavern Ruffian. We should be able to get 4 drops. 4 drops, usually there's just a ton of them running around. So, you can pick those up pretty easy. We have a Brood Weaver, so we're not desperate for a card like Bounding Wolf, and that'll probably wheel anyway, you know? Also, of note, Candle Trap, well in white. So it's a decent pack for white. A Sun Gold Barrage, I think, is playable as a one-off in a white deck. Right. So here we have quite a few options. We are set up to splash with a Dawnheart Rejuvenator. One of the problems with Werewolves is that it just folds to removal, especially if you have Tovolar's Huntmaster. Being able to recur something is huge. It's a big game. So we could take Diregraph Rebirth, this is the most powerful card in the pack, and then pick up an Evolving Wilds later and then splash it. We could take the Evolving Wilds now to secure our splash, or we could just go with something like a Tireless Hauler, which should wheel. Ardent Elementalist could possibly wheel as well. We're just going to go for power here in C. We already have 2 Eccentric Farmers as well. Another blank here. But we can pick up another Eccentric Farmer. Now that we have Diregraph Rebirth, they become more valuable because we can pull cards out of the yard. Here is just a crazy strong pack for black, right? You have Diregraph Horde, which is a mythic common. I probably take... Pack 1, pick 1. I probably take a removal spell over Diregraph Horde, but it's very close. That card is just bananas. And then we get a gift pick 6 Moonranger Slash. We haven't been seeing a whole lot in this pack, so that's a really good pickup for us to have. And then a duel for dominance, so we're looking good on the removal and interaction side. One thing to note is Lambholt Harrier, which I think is a fine 2-drop. Then we get another Thermo Alchemist here. We have 6 instants and a sorcery, so it's looking like the Thermo Alchemist might even be pretty good here. But we have Ardent Elementalist as well to recur one of our powerful instants or sorceries. And then we just totally blank and fuck up the pick. Yeah. Yep. We just ran out of time because I'm a clown. Well, that's going to come back to haunt us. Fuck me. We did get gifted that Wield Unnatural Moonrise, so that's good. But we totally got clowned there and missed out on the Thermo Alchemist. We did also get a Wield Ardent Elementalist to make up for our mispick, but it's still really bad for us, of course. We're looking pretty low on Werewolves. We only have our 2 uncommons and our rare, so we need to focus on Werewolves this pack, and then kind of trimming the fat from this deck. Getting it more synergized. I mean, we have a lot of good playables here. We can splash, we can do what we want. But yeah, here we open up a Rise of the Ants, and that card's just super strong. One of the best, probably green's best uncommon. I think that's better than Hound Tamer, for sure. Rise of the Ants is just ridiculous. And now we see another close pick here. Purifying Dragon, Burn the Accursed, Harvest-Tide Infiltrator, Duel for Dominance. All 4 of those cards we would play at this point. We're going to take the Dragon here because this deck really folds to blue-black zombies, and then it folds to flyers. And Purifying Dragon does a really good job against spirits as well, because there's a lot of 1 toughness ones. Then we get Fireball. Well, that's a sweet pickup. So our deck's looking okay right now. We just need to solidify some more werewolves here. We have a ton of removal, and it looks like we're going to pick up some more here. There's Burn the Accursed and a Snarling Wolf, and we have so much removal, it's actually pretty close. At this stage in pack 3, you're not necessarily picking cards on raw power all the time. You just want to build your deck. Now we have another choice, Lambholt Harrier, Snarling Wolf. I don't think we want that second Ardent Elementalist here. We just want one of the wolves for our Kessig Naturalists. Kessig Naturalist pumps wolves and werewolves, to note. Here we get another Lambholt Harrier. Those get much, much worse in multiples, but fine. Then we get another pick 7 Cathartic Pyre. We got one pack 1 pick 7 and pack 3 pick 7. Same uncommon, and a very good one. So deck is looking okay. And I don't even think we need to splash here. And we get gifted a couple 3-drop werewolves, which is huge. We're going to take Spellrune Painter. We have a ton of removal right now. We have 12 instants and sorceries. We have like Rise of the Ants and Unnatural Moonrise. Then we get gifted our Evolving Wilds. So there's just a ton. Just a ton, yep. Harvest-Tide Infiltrator, come back. We have a Tavern Ruffian here or Snarling Wolf. I think it's close. We do have a lot of stuff to do at 2 mana, so it's probably going to be that Tavern Ruffian, and then we get the Snarling Wolf anyway, and we get another one, so. Snarling Wolf is mediocre playable, but green's pretty mediocre, so play it if you got it. So there's going to be some tough cuts here. We have a lot of playable cards. From the jump, I just don't think we need to splash. And if we don't need to splash, we don't really need Dawnheart Rejuvenators. We can, if we want to be a focused deck, we'll probably want to ditch that Thermo Alchemist, even though it's a very good card, and I think it's very good in this deck because of the density of spells that we have and removal. Probably don't need the Might of the Old Ways either as a trick. We have Unnatural Moonrise to help get creatures in, and we have a ton of removal to help clear the way. I don't think a trick is going to be super necessary for us in this deck. Our creatures are going to be bigger than theirs in most cases as well. So now it's the last cut. We could think about going to 16 lands. I don't think we want to. We have Rise of the Ants, Tovolar's Huntmaster, Purifying Dragon. We have an Unnatural Moonrise that we want to flash back, a Fireball, a Contortionist Troop. All of those want us to have a lot of mana. 2 Burn the Accursed. So we want to get to 5 mana to be able to win here. So we can flash back our stuff, make a big troop, burn them out, cast a dragon, or a bomb. So. And cut a duel. I don't think we need it. We have a ton of removal. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 removal spells already after we cut the duel for dominance. So I think we're good. I'll probably just run this. One of the ways werewolves struggle in this format is there's no real incidental card advantage. In every other color, you get it, right? In white, you have Search Party Captain. In blue, you have Organ Hoarder. In black, you have Morbid Opportunist, which is a bananas uncommon. And then you have Ecstatic Awakener as well at common in black. And then red doesn't really have anything, and green doesn't really have anything. The other colors just get so much value over time. And the removal's so good, it's just very difficult for green-red to compete. All right. So the odds of us ever playing or casting Tovalar's Huntmaster for the entire draft, for our account, I would say is probably 0. But let's see. Let's see what our odds are. All right, we have a 2-drop. Really wishing that was a forest so we could hold up Duel for Dominance. But here we are. Have a good trade there. Never mind. We could have fought in response if we would have had a forest there, so that really screwed us. And then we didn't draw our land, so now we're just kind of boned here. Yep. So if they put a counter on that witch, maybe I fight it, but that's still a 2-for-1 for the opponent, so that's probably not a good idea. I think I just have to suck it up. Tavern Ruffian blocks here, so does Broodweaver, so I think I just let it go. If we don't draw a land, we're pretty screwed. We drew a 3-drop, and that will trade for a Candlegrove Witch, so that's fine. Not going to double block on a Gavany Silversmith. I'm just going to have to take 3, and of course they have the burn spell. And then they hit me for a billion. And that's going to be game there. Pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, we're just not going to draw any land here. It was tilted, so I should have flipped it tonight before casting Moonrager Slash. Technically, and then they're able to dump their whole hand here. So there's really nothing we can do. We're just dead on board. Yep, we didn't get to play that game. Game 1. Not able to play there. And no real choices or decisions there. Just not allowed to play that one. This is a good hand. So, same as last time, but we have a Kessig Naturalist. So hopefully our opponent doesn't have a way to deal with that, and we can get in there with it. So they need a 3-drop here, or our Kessig Naturalist is going to crush. I mean, decks in this format have 3 drops. So. Okay, I got bounce. So now we need to draw a forest. And we did. That's really good. It allows us to double spell. Really, really good turn. Then we have Unnatural Moonrise as backup to flip our wolves with pump. So Organ Hoarder makes things awkward. But I can get in for 1 and then maybe cast a 3/3 troop. And that gives us but what I should do here is swing for 1 first. Yeah, and I did it. So that's a punt. But now I have troop that's gonna pump, and again, another punt because now I just lost Coven. Yeah. Yeah, another punt. I could get Coven back by casting Unnatural Moonrise on Naturalist or Snarling Wolf, though. Because then one would be 4 power. No, I still wouldn't have it. I would have to cast Unnatural Moonrise and pump the Snarling Wolf in order to get Coven here, which is a possibility. Or I could just pump Snarling Wolf, and then I get Coven that way, and then I can play Spell Rune Painter. Yeah, so that's good. Now I have Coven, and the Troop trigger will happen, and still give me Coven before the Snarling Wolf goes back to a 2/2 and I lose Coven. So now, hopefully I do this in a smarter fashion. I need 1 3-power thing, so I could put it on Painter or Naturalist, and I put it on the fucking Troop because I'm stupid. I guess I wanted blocks on Organ Hoarder, but in that case I should have just put it on Spell Rune Painter, because that still has blocks. And now they Infernal Grasp it, and we're in trouble. Man, there's a lot of misplays here that I'm making. I'm already tilted from game 1, so I'm just playing very poorly, because I get tilted way too easily. So, next turn, I just screwed that whole thing up. So next turn, what I can do now, I can swing with Kessig Naturalist to get me an extra mana. So I got an Unnatural Moonrise on Spell Rune Painter or the Wolf. Then I can swing with Naturalist and burn the Accursed on the Skrillex if I wanted to. But then I would have to trade for Organ Hoarder, which isn't great. So this enables attacks with Painter and Wolf. And they can trade their Organ Hoarder for the Wolf all day, I don't care. So Unnatural Moonrise here represents a shit ton of damage. Because it's going to flip Spell Rune Painter and make it into a 7/8/8 trample. So and then, I mean, our opponent will have no idea. And then we'll also be able to cast the other side on Kessig Naturalist and make that into a 4/3 trample. So we have 12 points of power trample on the board, and our opponent has no idea. But we are in terrible shape, so if this Unnatural Moonrise plan doesn't work, we're just dead. Okay, so they're swinging. They don't see the danger here. So that's really good for us if they just play a creature. Yeah, that should be game. That should be game here. Yep. Cast on the backside. And that's all trample, and our opponent's dead. Easy peasy, had it the whole time. We had a ton of misplays there from us. But we got there. We recovered. Right, this is a good hand. So 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and a fireball. We have our Werewolf Lord, a werewolf, and then another wolf. So that's looking like the synergy draw that you want. So our opponent really needs a 2-drop here, or things are going to spiral out of control for them. And we draw our Unnatural Moonrise, and they didn't have a 2-drop. That's really, really bad for our opponent. We'll go ahead and cast our other Werewolf. Oh boy. Yeah, so they're pretty dead here with our Fireball. So they need something with 4 toughness. And they got it. Well, it's a 3/5, actually. But we have Unnatural Moonrise here to buff our stuff. I'm going to put that on Snarling Wolf, because I can pump Snarling Wolf and do that. And then it makes our Spell Rune Howler unblockable as well. And then we hit them for 11. They don't block. I think it might be correct to chump with Wing Shredder here, so I don't draw a card, and so they don't take 11. And even if they were to double spell somehow next turn, I can always flip it back to Night with Unnatural Moonrise. I got 3. I have 3 lethal attackers. That's pretty disgusting. Another Werewolf. It's pretty good. We have a Fireball to win, but I think it's just cooler to win this way. So Fireball also goes to face, so we can do that. But too many attackers, not enough blockers for the opponent. And we also have pumps on Snarling Wolf. So no matter what, they're taking lethal here. That was filthy. That was a legit turn 5 win in limited. Yeah, they're big mad. I would be too. I would be furious. I can't blame them. We dealt 31 damage in 5 turns. That's pretty good. So when your werewolf deck gets a nut draw like that, and if your opponent doesn't have a 2-drop or interaction, yeah, you're gonna win. The problem is that most decks are gonna have those things. 2-drops, removal, interaction. Blue-black is just really, really strong, and it has better early game than you and better late game generally, because your 2-drop werewolves are uncommon, and they're only really good if you have them when you're on the play in your opening hand, because there's a higher chance that your opponent doesn't have a 2-drop. All right, so it looks like we have this again, potentially. Go ahead and swing there. You don't block, of course, and then we can play our naturalist. We can put our opponent in the same situation, so they're under pressure to play a 2-drop here. Looks like they might have Eaten Alive the way that they're hovering over my stuff. Clearly not going to block there. And they do have the 2. Alright, so Eccentric Farmer, odds of it... So what I could do here is pump the wolf and then fight Vampire Interloper, but I'd rather just play the farmer. The odds of not flipping a land when you have a 17-land deck with Eccentric Farmer, I believe, is around 15%. Looks like we are going to go for that route. So we can flip our wolves. Now we can fight either the interloper, or if they go to sack with the ecstatic awakener, we can try to get him with duel. It's still a mistake, I think. I think we were supposed to play Eccentric Farmer there instead of this line, because they can, if they were to play a land here and then do ecstatic awakener, they would flip our wolves for us, and then we could have gotten more board presence. Now they can just kind of try to flip the awakener for free, and again, that's, you know, somewhat what we were trying to bait out of them, but they don't go for it. Flesh Taker's a good one, and they have mana to sack. But it turns out they do have the Eaten Alive. We knew that they had it. They were thinking about doing it last turn, but now that opens up duel for dominance here. So we can take out that Flesh Taker. And then we'll just play Farmer next turn. Again, odds of not flipping a land in 3 cards in a 17 land deck are about 15% on average. Obviously, if you draw a shit ton of lands, then it goes down. So we'll see what our hit rate is on Eccentric Farmer. Yeah, it's 0. It's going to be 0. And then they, you know, are going to draw their rare. And we have to deal with it this turn, or it's going to flip. So they got a perfect draw, and then we draw our other 5-drop spell. So there's, so we're just a rock and a hard place here. Obviously, they don't block. Why would they? And then we can't give them value by giving them the sack trigger. So we want to be able to kill that Graveyard Trespasser immediately. And we'll just trade off here. That's fine. I can't have them flip that Graveyard Trespasser. So our Eccentric Farmer flipped 3 non-lands. 3 non-lands. And then we drew a land immediately. No, we drew Burn the Accursed. So 3 non-lands. Well, that doesn't work here. I'm not sure why they're doing that. I think they thought they were going to get the Spirit. Here's the first land. Opponent's also on 6. Happy with them doing that. There's the second. And number 2 in a row. Opponent's drawn spells now. 3 in a row. This is after we mill 3 non-land cards with Eccentric Farmer. Draw 3 land in a row. Yep, I'm tilted. Every turn. It's 3 land in a row. 3 land in a row. 4 land in a row. This is, again, after we mill 3 non-land cards, we draw 4 land in a row. After we mill 5 land in a row. 5 land in a row. That's after we mill 3 non-land cards. Yep. That's our account. That's how we... Yep, that's what we have to put up with. Absolutely. Absolutely. 5 land in a row. 5. And that's after we mill 3 non-land. What are the odds of that? For our account, pretty damn high, let me tell you. So Eccentric Farmer, 15% chance to not hit a land in 3 cards. And then we draw 5 in a row, and so we'll see. We'll see how Eccentric Farmer does for the rest of the I'm tilted. I am pissed. So, look at our 2 losses now. We're 2-2. First lost, we're completely mana screwed. Drew 3 mana. That's it. Second loss, drew 5 lands in a row. 5 lands in a row while our opponent drew spells. After milling 3 non-lands with Eccentric Farmer. After milling 3 non-lands with Eccentric Farmer. Yeah, I'm tilted. I'm pretty tilted. So, Arena has prevented us from playing in 2 games. And those are 2 losses. So, oh, and now we can't even get a match. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very upsetting. So, how are we going to bring this back? With the weakest deck in the format. Are we going to draw our bomb? No. You know that's not going to happen. Not for our account. You know it's not. The only time we draw our bombs is when they're totally irrelevant. So, we'll have to figure out another way to win. Because we know it won't be our bomb. And this is another great hand. Snarling Wolf into Kessig Naturalist. We are on the draw, which makes it a lot weaker. But thinking back to that first game we won, it was our second game played, which was Unnatural Moonlight, dealing 11 points of trample damage the turn before we were going to lose. And then I'm so tilted, I screwed up so bad, I forgot to play a mountain. That's how tilted I am. That's my own damn problem. Unreal. Unreal. I'm just bad. Now, another Eccentric Farmer. Let's see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3 non-land. 15% chance. 0 for 2. 0 for 2. Yep. Second time in a row. In a row. You bet your ass. There is nobody with luck like we got. Nobody. Nobody. Opponent keeps playing very juicy 3/3s for us. But I mean, this game should have already been over, and we were so tilted that we might have screwed ourselves. And then we didn't play Lambhole Terrier, which we probably should have done there. Definitely should have done. This turn, though, I can play Lambhole Terrier and make something unable to block. But they didn't, so they're going to have a flash creature here. The Spirit is what they're foretelling. But they gave me Nightbound, which isn't good, because now they're still lethal. They would have to jump the Snarling Wolf to live. But we don't even give them that option. We don't need to. Yeah. So what they should have done is just played the Spirit on their turn. But that game should have been over 2 turns before that. Unbelievable. 2 Eccentric Farmers, 0 lands. I have no idea what the odds are in that. And then we drew 5 lands in a row after we cast the last one. Just unreal. Unreal. Also, that was game 6. We have not seen Tovalar's Huntmaster yet. Haven't seen it. Alright, here, definitely want to get a green with that Evolving Wilds. Try not to screw this up. But we have Snarling Wolf on 1. So We want to play that out, depending on what the opponent does. We don't have a 2-drop anyway, so. Here I want to get to Moonrager Slash. It's still probably correct to play the Mountain and get in for one. But just grab the second green. I think I'm still tilted. We have Rise of the Ants at least. It's the first time we've seen that card. So that card's a winner. And now we have Troop. Troop's good. We'll play a Troop for 2. Get a little closer to Coven. Troop is just such a flexible card that gives you late game value. It's just good at any point in the curve. I just really like that card. They have the Silversmith here. We don't have a lot of options. We just got to kind of try to survive here until we can get Rise of the Ants online, because that's how we're going to outvalue this opponent and then hopefully get us some life back. And next turn we'll be at 5 mana, so we kill another thing, hopefully draw a land, and then we can play Rise of the Ants. So that croaking counterpart on Contortionist Troop is actually really good. Because it's going to enable Coven for them, and it still gets the ability, you know? We did draw a Harvest-Tide Infiltrator, and then we can just save Duel for Dominance, and we'll have Coven now. So let's make sure we do this properly. Yep. So we keep Coven. And we can Duel for Dominance the troop on their troop and get a counter on our troop as well, because we have Coven. And that wouldn't get rid of Coven for us. I don't know if I want to do that, because they can always just copy it again. It's kind of bad for us. But we're looking good here. They do have a big 5/6, but it comes into play tapped if they transform it. Four 5 is a pretty big dude. But let's see what they do with this counter, because that's going to make a huge difference. If they put the counter on the Hauler, we're in trouble, but they choose to put it on the Silversmith, which is really, really good for us. Now we can make that into a 5/4, blow up their Silversmith, and then next turn we can burn the Tireless Hauler and swing for 7. Actually, we'll just swing with the team, because if they want to trade their troop for Snarling Wolf, no, should have swung with that wolf. I guess they could have just created another copy of troop again, but that's 5 mana and then they're just dead. So I definitely should have swung with the wolf there for an extra point of damage. Might come back to bite me in the ass. We'll see. Do you have removal in hand? And a big board, 5/4 Trampler, 3/3, and then a creature I can pump. Now we can cast Rise of the Ants too, but I don't even know if we're going to need it. So we can Pyre down the Cathars. Then I have to chump, right? So I had to double chump there. They're at 3. They're still fighting. They're getting their board here, but because the trample is just a huge problem for them. So they can't. And now we draw our bomb. We draw our bomb, but we're allowed to draw it if it's irrelevant. Right? We're allowed to draw it if it's irrelevant. So if I swing out here, they have to. They can trade Gale Drifter for Harvest-Tide Infiltrator. They can block Beggar on Troop, and then their troop dies. Is the proper block. And then they take 2 going to 1. They're choosing to do this line, which I don't agree with. So this line really changes things. It does leave them at 2. But they don't keep their Beggar on the field. And now, I mean, they don't even have mana to cast Beggar right now. I guess they do with the Mystic Skull, but with 2 3/3s, there's just too many lethal threats. I had 4 lethal threats on the board still. One of them with 5 points of trample power. So like I said, we are allowed to draft or see our bomb if it's going to be irrelevant or if we can't cast it. That's when we're allowed to see it. So that was game 6. First time we've seen it in a game. Of course, it was irrelevant. It was the first time we've seen it. We didn't want to cast it there because if they Croaking counterparted and copied it, they still get the 2/2/2s. And that is bad for us. Alright, Eccentric Farmer. And we start out with the Tovolar's Huntmaster. So it's in our hand, so we may be able to play it. We may be able to play it. We have Eccentric Farmer. Now, we've cast that thing 3 times. And we've gotten no land twice. Oh, we did it. And we did mill 2 very good cards for us. To our Fireball, and then Cathartic Pyre, one of our best removal. Probably our best removal spell other than the Fireball. It's probably a little better than the Fireball. Fireball is good because it has versatility and goes to face. Now we draw a Naturalist. That's really good. We can double spell this turn if we want. Looks like we're just going to save mana for Duel. We can Duel for Dominance, the Interloper on Eccentric Farmer. And since they're black-red, I think that makes sense because they get so much value from life loss triggers. So I don't want them to swing for, hit me for 2, play a land, play a Bat Whisperer. It doesn't sound like a good time to me. Silverbolt's gonna wreck me at some point. Now we're not drawing lands, but we'll get in here for 4. I'm assuming they, kill my stuff. I don't know why they didn't use Silverbolt prior. And Diregraph Ward is such a beating. It's such a huge beating. I can make it unable to block, but I have a couple Burn the Accursed, drew a land at a really opportune time there, and so now I can get in for 4. Looks like they might have to use that Silver Bolt. Oh, which of course immediately destroys Huntmaster, but I don't know if we're going to be able to play it this game anyway. They're at 8. I can make that Behemoth unable to block and play Snarling Wolf this turn, so I can get in for another 4. So I don't think we're going to need... So Lambholt Harrier doing work. And then now we have 2 lethal attackers here because we have Burn the Accursed. Neonate's Rush. Okay. Draw a card. They have 3 mana. So they really need to kill that Lambholt Harrier. Hoping they tap out for like a creature or something. They're swinging, which is not a good idea. And they should blow up the Harrier. Well, they didn't. So now they have 1 black mana, and they're just dead. So, like I said, we are allowed to have our bomb if it's not going to be relevant. I don't think there's any instant speed sack stuff, but burned them out. So we got a land from Eccentric Farmer. Now we got to deal with this again. Oh my god. I don't know if I have the luck to play that card. Like most people should. I think for my account settings, whatever WotC is doing to sabotage me. So I'm a conspiracy person when it comes to Wizards of the Coast only. Fucking with me. But I don't know if I have the luck to run Eccentric Farmer. You know, my luck is just too bad. Although, you know, I did get some good hands here, but my luck with Eccentric Farmer is really bad. We'll happily trade that for a Siege Zombie if they offer it. If they play a land here, obviously I can't block the Awakener. Jadar. Can't deal with that. So this is looking bad. This is looking really bad. I have to kill the Jadar right away. Right? Yeah. Jadar is just too strong. And they don't have mana to sack it right now, so that's good. And I really wanted to kill that stupid Siege Zombie, too. Yeah, so they're going to hit me for 4. I can play Broodweaver and have double blocks. Or Eccentric Farmer would also have double blocks on this board. But I'd rather play Broodweavers because I still, if they blow me out with a trick, I still get some residual value from Broodweaver. Plus, it's more mana efficient. If I draw a Forest, I could play Kessig Naturalist and Eccentric Farmer. Don't know why they did that pre-combat. Like, if they would have swung for 4, I don't know if I would have blocked. Or went for the double block. Maybe they're content with playing a long game here. Oh, they have Candle Trap, that's why. They do have Coven, so I'm 100% going to block and get my 1-2. That still gives me a double block on Clarion Cathars. And then I can play Farmer for the double block on Demon. So I think I screwed this up pretty bad. Because I played the land first. Yeah, I shouldn't have played the land first. That was dumb, because if I get a forest with Eccentric Farmer, then I could have played Naturalist and double spelled. So that was a really, really bad situation. Right. 100% to mill my bomb. 100% to mill my bomb in that situation. I'm 100% on my account only. So, first 2 Eccentric Farmer casts, 0 land. Third one was 2 removal spells in a land, and this one was my bomb in 2 lands. Yeah. So things are looking pretty bad at this point. I need a way to deal with that 3/4 flyer. And they have a 4/4. Their board is bigger. Plus they have Siege Zombie on the field. So this is really tough. Rise of the Ants is going to have to do some serious work here. I can try to set up... They didn't attack, which is crazy to me. But I think they're just playing for the long game and trying to... Their plan is now to try to chip in with Soul Guide Griff and then outvalue me with Siege Zombie. Which is a fast clock. But I could cast Rise of the Ants here and be more mana efficient, but I think if I'm able to cast Rise of the Ants, it's going to be good at any point, and it should help me win the long game or survive that Siege Zombie. And then Troop, hopefully, with Rise of the Ants, it's going to give me enough value to push me over the top of that stupid 4/4. I can always sneak my stuff in as well with by making the demon unable to block. So I can sneak an ant in if I need to. I don't know, understand that attack there at all. They just gave me the double block. It was just really bizarre to me. Now I have another removal spell. I can kill their Siege Zombie. I can cast Rise here, and then I also have a block on their Vampire Interloper. Or I can just cast Troop and start getting value. So I have a lot of options now. I could go cast Naturalist plus Troop for 3 and start getting tokens. Or 1/1 counters, I should say. Now I have an attack with a 2/2. So it just got a lot there. They're gonna Rite of Oblivion my spider token. But I do have removal for the Interloper. I guess that's their game plan now, is to try to kill me with Interloper. But we can cast Troop here. But we'd lose Coven. We did that. I do have attacks here with the Ant tokens. And then I could cast a big Troop and get Coven, start getting some value, start accruing some value. Yeah. But we'll see how they block. If they want to trade that Catharsis for an Ant token, obviously I'm cool. There we go. So yeah, they're gonna try to beat me with Interloper here. And they do have a removal spell. as well for any threat. I don't get my Coven value, which is a huge bummer. But we killed our Interloper. And then we can play a 3-2 Trampler. Next turn, we can cast a big troop, start getting our counters, and hopefully grind them out. So that land is actually huge. Wow, this song is terrible. Alright. Okay, so that land is huge. It means we can make a 4/4 troop and cast Kessig Naturalist, which would give us Coven. Got to decide here if I'm going to try to get in with Infiltrator and offer the trade for Siege Zombie. Or Shady Traveler. And I think that's a clear yes. It doesn't disable Coven for me, so might as well offer him the trade. So I think I'm, here I'm just winning the long game with Rise of the Ants. And now we just get the value engine going. So they can kill the troop, but what does that do? Right here, I can just make the Scoundrel unable to block. Swing with everything. I get a mana from Naturalist and make the Siege Zombie unable to block. So I have a win here on the board. I'm just talking through the line here. Yep, there we go. Now I see it. And is that, yeah. It's 12 damage. There we go. After the mana screw, game 1, the mana flood, game 4, where we drew 5 lands in a row after milling 3 non-lands. We've snapped off 3 victories. 4 after that. We have not cast our bomb in 8 games, which we knew going in. We knew that going in. We've milled it once, of seen it and had it be irrelevant twice. So it's been in our hand 2 games, and we've milled it once, and then we haven't seen it 5 games. Hand here is pretty bad. It's a pretty bad hand. I have to keep it. What are we gonna miss with Eccentric Farmer, or are we gonna mill our bomb? All right, so here we go. What are we gonna mill? There's our bomb, 100%. That's a 100% chance. 100% chance, right there. 100%. You're 100% to either not hit with Eccentric Farmer or mill our single bomb. So we are not in 9 games. This is our 9th game. We will not once cast our bomb. Not once. Not a single time. Of course, we're up against a blue-black deck, strongest deck in the format. We have a very slow hand, which is bad. And we've milled our bomb. We do have Purifying Dragon, which I think is really good here. Obviously, against the Zombies deck, it blows up their board, it kills Scab Wrangler, but if we can stick it, that's going to be the problem, is to stick it against blue-black. It's just a lot of obstacles in the way of that. So they're getting value off killing our creature. We have card draw. They have a Scab Wrangler is just a devastating uncommon. It's so good. But you never know if we can stick this Purifying Dragon. It might have been maybe the correct play was to attack there, but I feel like they're gonna have a way to deal with this Purifying Dragon. If they don't, I'm gonna win anyway. So they're left open 4 mana. That's not scary at all. They won't let me get to attacks. Yep, Revenge of the Drowned. Okay. So we'll put it back on top because we know it's a huge threat. And it's going to draw out all the removal. It's fine. But this turn we have stuff to do. And now I can double spell. I know they're not going to swing in with the Scab Wrangler. So I can get in for 2 here pretty safely after I double spell. Or, sorry. Rise of the Ants. Yeah, make 2 3/3s. Gain 2. Yep. Forgot that was land 6. It's a huge turn. So we'll tap 1. That's fine. We still got our other 3/3. Rise of the Ants is a problem, I think, for blue-black. But they do have cards like Revenge of the Drowned. They have Bounce. They have counter spells, you know, like Dissipate or Devious Cover-Up, which exile it. They have a lot of Graveyard Hate and Diregraph Horde, so it's really difficult to play against this deck. It's just such a strong archetype. They're in the tank. I know that they want to stop Purifying Dragon. So they're leaving up mana here, which means they have a counter spell, right? So I don't want to play into that counter, of course. And if they're leaving up 3 mana every turn, I have a ton of stuff to do with my mana that isn't Purifying Dragon. So yeah. Also, they can just tap Purifying Dragon at this point. Now they're tapped out. But I can crack back for up to 8 here, which is pretty good. And if I take out that Scab Wrangler, we're kind of doing it. So we can just kind of crush them here while they're tapped out. Get rid of Scab Wrangler. Play it in Infiltrator. I'm not sure if I need Purifying Dragon. I think I'd rather just force them to use removal on these cards that aren't game breaking, because I still have an advantage on board here. Right, my board is massive right now. They can't get in. They need removal for Broodweaver because it stops their team. They got rid of their Scab Wrangler. And then Broodweaver isn't even, like, removal doesn't do anything against it. Now they have that 3rd land, and they're leaving up mana, so they probably have something. I have a feeling they're holding removal for Purifying Dragon and or a counter at this point. But, again, I can just keep getting in there. I have Burn the Accursed is a combat trick if I need it. I'm just going to start swinging in. Right? I don't care about trading Harvesttide Infiltrator or Shipwreck Scepters. I don't care. I don't think they would trade Siege Zombie for it, but I'd be super happy with that if they did. Yep, just getting in there. So put them to 1. And they are in the tank. So they have something to do here. And now I think they're doing something. I think they're bluffing me when they say, oops. So I believe that they have Meat Hook Massacre in their hand, which would wipe out my team at this point. But if they... What they could do is draw a land and then... play it for 5. But right now they can only do it for 4, which still puts them under pressure. From Tavern Ruffian. So they couldn't take out the Tavern Ruffian. So they need to have a land. And then I also have Purifying Dragon and Burn the Accursed in my hand, as well as Rise the Ants on flashback eventually. So I think this is the best way to play it. They have 3 blockers. I have 6 attackers. So if they don't have Meat Hook Massacre, we're just going to win, right? There's just nothing they could do for 6 mana to put 3 blockers on the field or take out 3 attackers. Some combination. When they're at 1 life, right? Maybe they had Infernal Grasp in hand. And then they realized, oh crap, I'm at 1. I can't use it. But I think they just forgot to block there. So that's kind of a bummer. But that is 9 games. The full gamut. 0 draw of our bomb.